Hello and good morning and or good night, depending on where you are and when you are watching this. So this is the second chapter, or sorry, the first chapter, the first one after the prologue, of Valkyria Chronicles, a game I very much enjoyed when it first came out on PlayStation 3. I beat it twice, and now that it's out on Steam, I'm going to play it again. So I think today what I'm going to do is I'm going to more just talk instead of discuss what's going on in the game, because I've got a topic I kind of want to discuss about, but yeah. Anyway, let's see how that goes. So what I wanted to really talk about was how it's interesting that the world is, or that it's really interesting seeing how the world is, and seeing that other people have less than you in such a way that I think that it's, there's a part of the idea of you being able to do things that others can't, and then are you supposed to be appreciative of what you have, or should you feel sorry that you have more? Because there's two sides to it. There's some people would say that you should just appreciate every good thing you have, appreciate it before it's gone, appreciate it because some people don't have it, things like that. But at the same time, that you appreciating it helps you maybe emotionally, but it doesn't help people who actually have less. And because you're not helping people who have less, is it more productive to then say, I'm really sorry that I have more than you and maybe I can give some to you?
Almost done.
Or is it really just you should just be appreciative of what you have? So I guess something that kind of comes along to it is the idea of white privilege versus like white burden, where white people say have all this stuff and they want to, or they appreciate it all. That's white privilege. They appreciate it and they know they have more. But then white burden would say that they need to give back to the people. I honestly don't know which is better, because honestly there's sides to both. You should, if you appreciate it, I guess that can sometimes lead to giving back, and that's very good to see. But I don't know, that was just something I guess I really didn't think through more of a conversation, but that's something I find interesting is how do you decide? Is it, I don't know, I mean, it's always important to give back, but do you just give back, or do you give back and also appreciate what you have? Is giving back appreciating what you have? Are you appreciating it by giving back to the people?
I should know. I've already had 4 of them.
Another way to look at it is that
Is Welkin in?
I don't know. Never mind.
Oh, hello, Alicia. What brings you here?
I just wanted to apologize for before. Here. This is for you.
Really? These are for me?
I work at the bakery. Well, I did until the war started anyway. It's where I live, too.
I find it very interesting too how
bread, so it's pretty hard.
you
eat it, all right?
a lot of people have such a view of the world, whereas they think that it's such a good place. I mean, growing up, I knew that there were bad things, there was crime, and people were hurt, there were kidnappings, things like that. But I guess I didn't know how severe they were and how bad some people had it until you grow up and you realize these things. It's insane.
You've
I
had a
mean,
busy day of it, haven't you,
there's
Wilkies?
just people who are so much less fortunate,
What
and
a lovely lady
it's
you
so
are for all
easy
that
to
adventuring.
either
Good job,
not
Wilkies.
think about it, or it's too easy to, when you do address it, you do address a, that this needs to change. I'm waving my hand around like you guys can see it, but you can't. It's interesting that, so you are, when you actually like go and see it, it only lasts for a while. The motivation to actually change something about it only lasts for such a short amount of time. And that's what's just so sad about it, is you then get caught up in your own life and your own privileges and your own greatness, or lack thereof, that you then totally forget about how much less fortunate other people are.
Well, I'm sure you will.
And
Be good to my
really
Wilkies
it
here, won't you?
can't, it's harmful,
Okay,
I guess.
seriously, Martha, enough with the Welkies already.
I mean, it's like people make all these movies,
Is that General Gunther?
books, speeches to bring attention to these things, but then 20 minutes after it, you're done. You don't think about it anymore.
Yep. It was
And
taken
that's
before I was
just
born.
insane.
That's Dad.
That why are we, or I mean, at least people I know, so much about
That's Dad.
their own lives that they
You're a lucky
don't
guy.
consider, they don't think about it. They just like to block it out. Like, that's no longer a problem. It's just done,
And who's that
and
with him? There.
I'm done. And I don't need to address that anymore. Why can't we ever focus
My father,
on
Tamer.
the
He was an engineer. The General's tank was his
actual
creation.
danger, the actual danger these people are in, or the actual tragedies these people face? There's so few people who actually
Wait a minute.
acknowledge it.
But I thought the General was your dad. My birth parents died when I was a baby. The General was kind enough to take me in as his own after that.
I don't know. I mean, these are
Yeah.
just kind of
We're
ramblings
not
at this
related by
point.
blood, but she's definitely my little sister.
Sorry, is that question too personal?
And I mean, some of these, it's also very difficult to talk with, like, the game talking as well.
No, I don't mind at
But
all.
that's
I
just
was
so
blessed
strange
with
to
two
me that
wonderful
people
fathers.
can be, just totally forget about the bad things in the world, and be
Yeah.
so ready
I guess
to
you would,
face
huh?
their own problems and think of how severe their own problems are.
Is
I
that
mean,
really the time? I've got to get going.
then that's another thing, is that you're not focusing on the
Why don't you
good,
steer off,
you're
Welks?
just
I can
focusing
take care
on
of the
your
rest of
own
this on my own.
personal problems instead of the worldly
All right, I will.
problems.
I'll be
You're
right
focusing on that your girlfriend just broke up with you, you're, got a B on a test when you
later,
wanted an
Isara.
A.
Safe travels.
You're still focusing on negative things, but you're not focusing on the negative things that need severe amounts of attention. And I mean, that's I guess what really confuses me, because I would think that the reason we don't think about those bad things is because we want to think about happy things, but we don't think about happy things. We think about personal bad things. So we still are always thinking about bad things, just things involving ourselves instead of things involving people less fortunate. Hey, there you go. I kind of tied those two discussions together
Look at this.
to a
Ooh,
neatish
really
little
becoming a
knot.
ghost town.
They've been leaving for a while. Just about everyone's dead by now. Can't blame them. Tensions are rising with the Empire. We'll survive. The Town Watch will guard and protect the home front. Everyone will come back someday. They'll come back when it's safe again, right?
Mhm.
Sure.
So,
Let's go
Welcome,
with
I'm
that.
curious. Are you gonna join the army like your father?
No, probably
I
not.
don't think that's for me. What I'd really like to do is be a teacher.
Teach pigeons how to
Huh.
die.
Teacher?
Yeah. Animals and insects, flowers and plants, they've always been my passion. I've learned a lot from nature. You see, my dad, he protected this country as a general, but it's just that I want to give back in my own way. My own way. You know what I mean?
I think I do.
Yeah, I understood it better the second time you said my own way. The first time when you said my own way, I didn't really understand it, but now that you said it a second time, I definitely get it.
Ah!
Boom!
What was that?
An explosion.
That sound.
It's the sound of tank fire, or mortar fire, sorry. Of course. How could I get those two mixed up? I guess in this game, tanks can fire mortars, so... Seriously, why do they need to kill civilians? That doesn't make sense. Oh, whatever. Whatever. Dun, dun, dun,
I
dun,
don't
dun,
believe
dun,
it.
dun.
The mill.
Not the windmill! I mean, you know, a bunch of people just got shot down the middle of the street. But the windmill!
Miss Melkia,
No!
the Imperials are attacking. There's a squad of them in town right now.
Get all the town watch together now. We've got to fend them off.
They must be at Mill Plaza. I'll help.
Thanks,
You
Wealthy.
should probably
Now
get
move
that
out.
tank,
Stay
you know,
low.
that your family has. Tank. Tank. Use your tank. Alright, I don't think I have time for this last battle, so I'm going to stop it here. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. I hope you enjoyed this to some extent. Hopefully you learned something about yourself too, or you're going to change something, I don't know. But, you know, think about those less fortunate, see what you can do to change. I'm not saying I'm any sort of saint, and I do help people or anything like that. I mean, I do a little bit, but I don't do a lot, and I definitely also put it to the back of my mind when I don't want to think about it. But, you know, it's just something we should all focus on want a little bit more, and it'll help a lot, I think. Alright, anyway, thank you, enjoy, stay beautiful.